Smash Bros. Sure has a gaggle of guys, and recently it seems the new trend when it comes to doing things with them is to look at the canon of all the games they've been in and seeing if one random fact applies to them. I'll be doing something similar, looking at who is most likely to get cancer. I'm not sure why I chose this, but I've foolishly decided to stick with it. Most videos of this ilk will go through the roster in fire number order, but I think in this case it makes more sense to split this up into tiers since cancer risk is much more of a gradient than having eaten a pizza or having seen a skeleton. The lowest tier is the inorganics who do not have any cells and thus cannot get cancer. Both of them are animals and humans who do not have the exposure to natural carcinogens of daily life due to being from ye olden times or whatnot. They're still gonna die, just probably of cholera or the Black Death or something. After them are just normal people who will probably get just as much cancer as you will, the control group. Then there is this vague tier that's simply called that can be good for your health for us who aren't known to engage in typical carcinogens but are associated with one weird thing that certainly isn't decreasing their chance of getting cancer. For example, Cloud was subject to genetic experiments that included the insertion of alien genomes before the events of Final Fantasy VII. That can't be good for your health. Similarly, there's a secret tier just after the inorganics called that can be good for your health, which is very much the inverse, which I am only revealing now because it doesn't make that much sense to reveal the that can be good for your health tier before the that can be good for your health tier. Then there are more specific tiers based on how many carcinogens I can tie back to them. Do note that I'll treat any exposure to non-everyday radiation above any other carcinogen since it's radiation. It's like the thing that causes cancer. So, quickly, the tier order is inorganics, that can be good for your health, AAHWDHETTNCODLD, TBFYOTORWN, control group, that can't be good for your health, 1 carcinogen, 1 radiation carcinogen, 2 carcinogens, and more. Here lies Mr. Game & Watch, where I cannot with full confidence say is a human being with flesh and cells. Rob is a robot. Mega Man 2 is a robot. This tier doesn't have many use cases. According to my research, plants don't get cancer but a secret second thing, so Piranha Plant is safe. Wii Fit Trainer. They are a yoga master. I think they might be the only one I put in this tier. Simon and Richter are devout followers of Zylord Zygod. And in Castlevania lore, this actually reduces your odds of getting cancer, or at least I'm assuming it does. Donkey Kong has nothing but he and his bananas to cause himself danger, as bananas are known to kill you via radiation if you eat more than 50 million of them at once. Thankfully God limited Donkey Kong so he can only eat 6 to 7 bananas at once. Maybe 8, his math seems really big. Ice climbers are just good, honest kids that climb mountains. Unless gender changing increases your cancer risks, then she should be good. Zelda is fine though, she does get sent to the Dark World at some point. Martha's fine. Young Lick is fine, but I can't say anything about his adult form. I quit during Jabba's belly. Ganondorf is fine, but he can turn into a pig. Ike is fine. Lucario is a dog. They're fine. Toon Link is fine. Duck Hunt Dog is a dog. That hunts ducks. I don't know much about Star Fox. This was the best neutral tier I could find. That is fine. Captain Falcon can go to space, but as far as I know, he's always insulated from possible ionizing radiation by his car. Mewtwo can really go either way depending on whether or not you think getting created in the lab by scientists would improve or worsen your chances of getting cancer. Roy is maybe nominal unless you S-support Eliud with Ninian in the Blazing Blade, as S-support is a Fire Emblem speak for Wed, and Ninian is 1/2 Ice Dragon, meaning that Roy would have the genomes of 2 different species inside of him. This is bad. You should only have 1 genome worth of species in you at any given time. Yomi should be in this tier, but I'm very sorry if they aren't. Pokemon Trainer is fine. Yeah, I get the joke about Pokemon blasting off large blasts of power during battles, but unfortunately Pokemon have only wielded the power of radiation in an incredibly popular fan game. I think Lucas is fine, but his game also has shit like the Ultimate Chimera walking around in it, so I don't think I should be taking chances like this. Villager is fine. Obviously Nintendo's not going to put any big carcinogens in Animal Crossing. Lil Mac is fine. However, he does live in New York. What is the Pac-Man canon? Is it just the original game? Is that in Pac-Land? More? Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures? Somehow? I'm not sure whether whatever training regimens Ryu had to go through to become Ryu would be good or bad for herself, but I'm sure he'll be fine. Ken's probably the same, though he's American, so he'll definitely have eaten more burgers than you. Isabel's a dog. There's like 4 different guys. Can I skip him? Terry is fine. Miniman's fine. In the ninth Kingdom Hearts game, Kingdom Hearts 3, one of the visitable Disney worlds in the game is Monstropolis from Monsters Inc. According to the Pixar theory, a fan theory that posits that every Pixar film exists in one connected universe, Monster Inc. takes place after the planet Earth has been irradiated during the events of WALL-E. Henceforth, Sora should get cancer or something similar after this game. However, we can refute this claim in two ways. One, we're basing it off the Pixar theory, like, come on guys, and two, fellow Pixar movies, Toy Stories 1 through 3, also have an explorable world that is clearly separate from a past version of Monstropolis. Well, yes, Link has spent more than a few weeks in the Shrine of Resurrection, which resurrects you. I think all this reviving is cancelled out by the Zoanite tech in the 2nd or 20th game, whose energy is an unelaborated, green, presumably liquid substance that can be made by processing ore found deep underground that is similarly green. Pikachu is one of many Pokemon transported via Pokeball, a device that turns them into energy. Yes, this system has been in place for 28 years now, but I still don't quite trust this to not have several severe side effects. Also subject to this are Jigglypuff, Pichu, Squirtle, Ivysaur, Charizard, Greninja, and Incineroar. Grumps is the same as Roy's situation if Ninian is the mother, though it's more of an inherited blood donation, so it's probably safer. Lucina is in the same boat, but she's from a post-apocalypse with zombies, so she's probably worse in that regard. Palutena is probably okay, but I believe that you can't be a goddess of light without receiving at least a little bit of UV radiation as just part of the job. Robin's similar to Chrom, but the blood transfusion is actually from a Frankensteinian creation made from human blood, divine dragon blood, and nectar, so I doubt this holy blood's just gonna sit around looking pretty. Shulk wields the Monado, a divine sword that can alter the reality around him to give him temporary buffs. That can be good for your health, and you would know more if you played Xenoblade. Corrin again suffers from having 2 genomes in his He. Also, I don't trust anything in Valor to be safe, just generally as a rule. Cloud was subject to genetic experiments that included the insert. Dude, they're starting a time loop. Fine. Bayonetta does a lot of weird shit with a lot of weird demons, but that's not what I'm concerned about. What I am concerned about is what having clothing made out of her own hair and regularly disrobing that in battle will do to her intake of UV radiation. Inklings dissolve when exposed to water. If the cell structure is that unstable, then yeah, these guys are probably going to be getting cancer all the time. Ridley is big, which means more cells, which means more opportunities to get cancer. Trust me, I am a science man. King K. Rool has had many alter egos, one of which is an evil scientist named the Baron K. Rolenstein, that I'm assuming has done a bunch of sick and twisted experiments on himself. I don't know much about Persona, but I can make a few guesses. This is my guess. I'm guessing that Joker has bad health. I don't think you can have gone to Clanker's Cavern and live past 50. It's just not possible. Yeah, Sephiroth's got alien genomes in him due to Hojo's Genova experiments. You've heard that all before. Kazuya Mishima has the Devil Gene. That can be good for your health. Part of Byleth's moveset in Smash incorporates 4 sacred weapons referred to as Hero's Relics that are highly likely to turn you into a hard monster called the Black Beast if you don't have the corresponding crest. Byleth only has the crest for one of these relics. No, this isn't a cancer thing per se, but I think Byleth should have to reckon with this either way. Mario, in his hit game Super Mario Galaxy, has spent many a time in space without a spacesuit, surely exposing him to a boatload of ionizing radiation. Another thing in these games that endanger him are the black holes, largely in part due to them being black holes, but also because they give off Hawking radiation. But mainly the black hole bit. On human scales, Hawking radiation is incredibly insignificant. The Metroid Prime series follows Samus and her fight to contain the radioactive substance known as Phazon. Dark Samus, on the other hand, is an entity made of Phazon. Obviously, Samus was in some variant of Power Suit during these encounters, but she also has 3 separate genomes inside her, so things aren't looking too good for her either way. Yoshi has also been to space. Kirby is another frequenter of outer space, and while I tried to indict him for something food-related, the most processed thing you're gonna find in terms of Kirby foods is a lollipop. Also, while I'm not certain any of the Kirby villains emit radiation, with how numerous they are and how consistently they fall into that reality-bending area, I'm not willing to count out any of them being radioactive. In Mario Galaxy, Luigi is also there. He's just kinda hiding with places. And don't forget, you can now play as Luigi. Princess Peach has also been to space. Daisy has only been to space in the form of Rainbow Roads and Mario Party boards, but if we don't count those, the biggest thing I can count against her is being exposed to the amount of wonder present in Super Mario Bros. Wonder. That cannot be good for your health. Bowser has also been to space.
Dr. Mario!
Meta Knight is far less of a space frequenter than Kirby, to my knowledge only having to be in space in Kirby's Return to Dreamland, Kirby Star Allies, and, of all things, Kirby's Epic Yarn. Pit has also been to space. And he's also been a dog. Kid Icarus Uprising goes places. Places like space. Darkbeard has also been to space in some minor role. Zero Suit Samus is the same as Samus, just without her power suit, so if Dark Samus comes knocking, she's gonna be in a lot more trouble. Wario has also been to space, but also, he's Wario. I think if there's anything he can do to increase his chances of getting cancer, then it can be taken on face that he has done it. Diddy Kong has also been to space. I hope you read the on-screen note in Donkey Kong section. Not only has Sonic been to space, he's also had to deal with all the exposure to pollution that fighting Eggman entails. King Dedede has also been to space at times and has been possessed by dark matter, something that cannot be good for your health. A common adage is that in Pikmin 1, one of the ship parts that you can collect is a Geiger counter, a device that measures radiation. Thus, the planet Pikmin 1 takes place on, PNF 404, is radiated. Now, you may have noticed that I never said that the Geiger counter actually detects any radiation in the game. This is because, as far as I know, it doesn't. All that Olimar mentions is that it makes a lot of buzzing noises every now and then. And we know these buzzings can't be from its time on PNF 404 because Olimar writes this note right after he recovers it, after he lost it by crashing on PNF 404. I'm still putting Olimar in this tier because his description of the Geiger counter makes it clear that he had seen it buzz at some point and thus probably got the associated radiation. Rosalina has been to space. Rosalina is like the symbol of space in the Mario universe. Obviously she has been to space. Bowser Jr. has been to space. The end isn't exactly space, but it's not like it has the ozone layer or the magnetic field required to shield Steve and Alex from all the cosmic radiation. Solid Snake drinks alcohol and smokes cigarettes. He also has all of Big Boss's recessive genes, which will probably fuck up the genome somewhat. Don't do drugs, kids. But there was one more secret tier, hidden away by our predecessors because they feared it would be too dangerous. Alright, time for the inevitable part of any video in this genre where the post gets blindsided by the weird horny shit in Xenoblade 2. So, in Xenoblade 2 there is a character who has extreme healing powers, particularly cell regeneration. And in one-off Sheen she uses these powers to give a person who already had all their cells in order too many cells. Fans have, of course, memed about the scene and how she basically gave this character weaponized cancer, but I don't think that's the best descriptor here, as these weren't cells that had a mutation that caused them to start growing wildly, but rather, cells that went into reproduction overdrive because the nearby cat girl told them to do so. So no, Pyra and Mythra are not at risk of getting given cancer by the cancer woman. As for actual cancer risks, Mythra operates a cool orbital laser robot that Pyra once uses to threaten to kill herself. That can't be good for your health. Henceforth, sure,